The gloves are on, the bell is ringing, and the first punches were already thrown. What can I say? Yeah, it feels like a brand new gaming generation is coming. And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome back to the channel. Let me tell you guys, I am super excited with this next generation of gaming. 9th gen of gaming, and we're still a little bit over a month away from it, but it feels like it's already here. Now, console wars aside, and I mean, I'm not going to be an hypocrite here because of course that I have my personal favorites, but the thing is that it seems like the theme of the next gaming generation is going to be variety. Both consoles are bringing some very interesting and fresh ideas to the table, more powerful hardware than ever on a video game home console, and let's not forget about Nintendo, but I will talk about Nintendo at the end of the video. And I've always looked at the console wars through a vicarious eye because, you know, I'm not really into it, but I like to read the comments and, you know, it's just fun. And again, it is totally okay to have a favorite, but let's face it, each company it's doing its own thing. But at the same time, it is being very competitive. And a healthy competition is good, especially for us, the consumers, gamers, because we really need to look at the big picture. But after this very bizarre and long Cold War between Microsoft and Sony, now we already know which guns they are bringing. We already have every information about the upcoming hardware, release date and price tag. And also games, because in the end what defines a system are the games. First I want to talk about Microsoft, and here is the thing. My relation with the Xbox is pretty much none. It's not like I'm a hater, nothing like that, it's just that I never got into the Xbox, I never owned one. But the upcoming series looks very appealing, and I'm going to start with a small complaint. I mean, maybe it's not a small complaint because I know that a lot of you are on board with me on this one. It's the terrible choices in naming your consoles. I mean, we have the Xbox One, we have the Xbox One S, we're going to have the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. I mean, it's confusing. Maybe not for us gamers because we're into, I mean, this is our thing, but you know, imagine parents, you know, buying a brand new Xbox to their kids. But for the general consumer, that is messed up. So Microsoft, please change that. But about the series, Microsoft brand new console or consoles, because we're going to have two. We have the Series X and the Series S. Let's look at the Series X as the high-end performance, the high-end choice for Microsoft next home console. It will have physical media, it's bigger, it's bulkier, it's much more powerful, we have 4K, we have all of that. Price tag $499, it's what everybody was expecting, I believe, and I mean, with this powerful hardware, I mean, it's really not that expensive. I mean, if you look at what you have under the hood. Then we have the Series S, which was kind of a poor kept secret, if you will, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit confused at first, because I really didn't saw the point at it. It will not read physical media, but it's okay with that. It's less powerful than the Series X, as a matter of fact, is less powerful than the PS5. It is not 4K, even though it will upscale to 4K, but at the end, I mean, it's a next-gen console that it will cost only 300 euros or 299. Right now, that is cheaper than the Nintendo Switch. And overall, if you look at all of the specs and performance, Microsoft will have the edge on that because the brand new series will be the most powerful console in the market. There is no question on it. But again, it's not just about the hardware, it's also about the games. And it is true that Microsoft doesn't have the best exclusives, let's face it. However, arguably, Microsoft does have the best gaming service that you can get. That's right, out of the box with Game Pass, you will have access to a lot of awesome games. And for us retro fans, day one, we will have a lot of backwards compatibility with previous releases from the original Xbox, Xbox 360, and also Xbox One. Oh, and a little detail that we got this week, no, I didn't forget about that. Microsoft bought ZeniMax Media, that's right, the parent company of Bethesda. A deal of $7.5 billion US. So what franchises are under Microsoft ownership right now? Well, franchises like Dishonored, The Evil Within, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Starfield, and a little game and a personal favorite of mine, Elder Scrolls. That was crazy, that was controversial, but I mean, Microsoft, kudos for you. And let's not forget about the older IPs like Halo, Forza, and another personal favorite of mine, Fable. That's right, Fable, a brand new Fable game is coming. So even though I never owned an Xbox, I'm excited. I'm very excited with the upcoming Series X. Moving on to my number one choice, and this is no news if you follow my channel, PS5. PlayStation. PS5, we have two options like Microsoft, but these options will be different. We have a disc version and a digital version only. The difference between these two, well, just the disc drive really, and $100 difference. $399 for the digital version and $499 for the disc version. Yeah, a very different approach from Microsoft, but Sony also has an edge. And that edge is the edge that Sony always had pretty much since it came out. Since the very beginning, since the very first PlayStation, the PS1. IPs, like it or not, and it's okay if you don't like Sony's IPs, but Sony has the strongest IPs. We have a lot of classic IPs coming out, and we also got a really cool and interesting surprise with Sony's last presentation. Final Fantasy 16, that's right, it is going to be exclusive for the PlayStation 5, but on consoles, because I think that we are going to get it on PC also. But think about it, it's like the late 90s all over again, with Final Fantasy 7, 8, and Final Fantasy 9, fully backwards compatibility with the PS4. That is a huge selling point for me also, which is something that we didn't have with the PS4, but now with the PS5, we'll be able to play our discs, you know, and as a retro gamer, as somebody that likes to collect physical media, I will be able to play my PS4 games, you know, on disc on my upcoming PS5. And yes, I did pre-order a PS5. It is sold out everywhere. Here in Portugal, you just can't find it. You know, PS5 and Xbox also. And when I was going to make my pre-order, it was already sold out, but thanks to a very good friend, T to my friend, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't want to give him any trouble, but you know, he made a couple of phone calls at his workplace, and he managed to score me one. So yeah, I'm getting a PS5 disc version, of course. And also for PS Plus members, there's going to be a great lineup as soon as the PS5 launches. Now, about Nintendo, we must not forget Nintendo. This year, 2020, I mean, it has been a crazy year due to, you know what? Yeah, we can't say it on YouTube due to monetization, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, not only that, but 2020 is being a crazy year, a very bizarre year for Nintendo also. We've got Nintendo Direct after Nintendo Direct, you know, Indie Direct showcase, Partner showcase, and if you look at it, it was very bizarre, most of them. Nintendo recycling old content, Nintendo bringing, you know, IPs that have been in the market for a while now into the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, it is cool because the Switch has the gimmick and we can play these games on the go, but I mean, meh. However, we are also going to have some really interesting releases, upcoming releases for the Nintendo Switch. We're going to have a bunch of Mario content coming. As a matter of fact, some of that content is already out. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is already here. Brand new Mario Kart game, and yes, even though it is not the Mario Kart game that fans wanted, I mean, Home Circuit looks very interesting and it looks a brand new concept. Also, a brand new Hyrule's Warriors games. The Age of Calamity, which is going to be a prequel of Breath of the Wild. And speaking about Breath of the Wild, let's not forget that Breath of the Wild 2 is on its way. And that game, I mean, oh boy, am I excited for Breath of the Wild 2. Fingers crossed, I think that Breath of the Wild 2 will conquer all. But brand new hardware, even though there is none in the horizon, I mean, it's inevitable. Nintendo will have to release brand new hardware. Because even though Nintendo has a lot of stronger IPs like Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Zelda, Mario, you need third party, and the Switch will not be able to handle some of these upcoming games, you know, some of these upcoming 9th gen games. But at the same time, Nintendo is being Nintendo. Nintendo is doing its thing, and it is doing it well. The Nintendo Switch is a huge success, there is no denying in that, and Nintendo owns portable gaming, at least when it comes to consoles, and it has the gimmick, and it is a very cool one, and you really can't compete with Nintendo on that. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, and this is of course still very early, it's about the actual games, the games that were already revealed for both platforms. I'm talking about, of course, Microsoft and Sony. We have a bunch of trailers, we have a bunch of gameplay, we have a bunch of cinematics. They look good, they look great, but the thing is that back in the day, at least when I start gaming, and I'm talking about the transition between 4th generation, or the 16-bit, to the 5th generation, 32-bit. So that transitioned from 2D to 3D. I almost got that wrong, but I said it correctly. As I was saying, back in the day, you know, a new generation was indeed a brand new generation, and it felt like it, because for me, a brand new gaming generation, it's about the technology. It's about evolution, and back in the day, you could really see that. You could really see that evolution, you know, from 8-bit to 16-bit, from 2D to 3D. But nowadays, looking at these brand new games, these trailers, they really feel like, you know, current gen still. But going back to the hardware, and this brand new hardware is going to be very, very powerful compared to what we have right now, you know, on the long run, games will look awesome. I have no questions about it. So going back to what I said in the beginning of the video, I think that is what is going to define this next generation, is diversity. Sony, as the name, as the brand, you know, hands down, Sony is the most popular console that you have, is the best-selling brand when it comes to home consoles. I'm not going to use the word better here because it's a matter of preference, but let's just say that Sony does have the most popular and general appealing IPs, let's call it that way. I mean, Spider-Man Miles Morales at launch, later on we're going to have a brand new Horizon game, God of War, brand new God of War, it's on its works also. Let's not forget also about Final Fantasy 16. So if you're going for these exclusives and also for a very good third-party support, well, PS5 is probably the choice for you. Now, Microsoft, what do you have? In one hand, you do have the most powerful console next gen, hands down. But at the same time, and this is why the Series S turned out to be interesting, is that it's the least powerful upcoming console, but it's also the cheapest. And you're still going to have a next-gen gaming experience. Now add the Game Pass to that, and you just have a behemoth there. And Microsoft does have the best gaming service there. And about Nintendo, well, again, it's weird, but at the same time, it is working for Nintendo. I mean, during this current gen still, 8th gen, Nintendo had two consoles, the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. I don't know what the future holds, I just know that there's some amazing Nintendo exclusive games coming out, and a brand new Switch, we need a brand new Switch, and sooner or later it's going to happen. So from the start, and even though I prefer the PlayStation, I think that Microsoft has a little bit of an edge. Just because, you know, with the same price at launch, you have more to play with a better performance if you're going with the Series X. But on the long run, who is going to win this next generation? And I have the answer for that. It's us, gamers. We are the ones that are going to win. Because in the end, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're going with the PS5. It doesn't matter if you're going with the Xbox. It doesn't matter if you're waiting for what Nintendo will reveal eventually. It also doesn't matter if you have Game Pass and if you are a PC gamer and a PC gamer only. I mean, me personally, I would love to experience the best of all worlds. Unfortunately, I don't have the wallet for that, and for now, my wallet is hating me for pre-ordering the PS5, and I already have a Switch, which I love, but along the way, for the first time, I'm very excited with this upcoming Microsoft console, with the upcoming Xbox console. So probably when it get a little bit cheaper and when my wallet recovers, I will eventually get a Series X for sure. So guys, make love, not console wars, even though I do prefer the PlayStation, sorry. But please let me know about you guys, let me know down below your initial thoughts about the upcoming 9th gen of gaming consoles. Are you going with Sony's PlayStation 5? Did you get the pre-order? Are you going to get the disc version or the digital version? Are you on Microsoft team and are you going to get the Series X or the Series S? Or are you going all out and have both? So let me know down below. Guys, if you have the extra time, feel free to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to put a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.